Before you fall in love with that open floor plan, that fantastic finished basement, and that specialized granite countertops, have you asked your dog what they think? I'm serious. When you're looking for a home, it's probably wise to think about your best friend and what they need in a home, too. The last thing you want to see is that diabolical side eye staring right at you. So, in this video, I'm giving you the complete checklist. 7 types of homes your dog absolutely hates. And I'm going to go and show you how to avoid them, but also looking for a home features that your dog absolutely needs before you even submit your offer. So stick around because number 4, it's one that, almost every buyer misses, and it can cost you thousands. Now, my name is Dave Michael. I am the House Wrangler with You First Realty, and today we are looking at 7 types of homes your dog hates. Now, today we have 2 very special guests joining me, so let me go ahead and introduce you to them right now. So I have Nestor right here. He's been with me now. He is going to be 19 this November. He was a pet therapy dog at Children's Hospital in the prescription pet therapy program. And so he served there from 2011 up until the pandemic. And so he's a special kind of dog, right? For sure. He's a long hair, miniature dachshund. All right. So Nestor he might make another appearance, but I just wanted to show you that I have Nestor right here. And then also, I'm going to go ahead and put him down. And then over here, we have none other than Parker. And now Parker is 10 years old, also a miniature long-haired dachshund. And so he's the wild one. All right. So just wanted to introduce you with my 2 special guests here today. And so as we continue this, like I said, I'll reference them throughout. Now, like I just said, I mean, this isn't just professional advice. It's personal because both Parker and Nestor, I'm telling you, they have very strong opinions about real estate. And as dachshunds, they are highly opinionated and quite stubborn when it comes to certain home features. And honestly, rightly so. As I mentioned, Nestor's almost 19, Parker's 10, and they know exactly what they like in a home and what they're looking for. And I'm sure your dogs do too. So let's get into it. The 7 homes that your dog absolutely hate. All right, number 1, a home without a fenced yard. A dog absolutely hates that. In the Denver metro area, you're going to find everything from fully fenced backyards to completely open lots with gorgeous mountain views, but maybe zero containment for your 70-pound Labrador. And here's what to look for. Is it a full fence? Is it a partial fence with gaps? Do you have like side gates? What's the fence height? A 6-foot privacy fence might be great for most dogs, but if you've got a determined husky or a border collie that treats fences like suggestions, well, you need to know that up front. Also worth asking is this: does the HOA allow for privacy fencing? Can you add on or add one if one's not there? And we're going to come back to the whole HOA rules in a minute because that section that can get a little bit spicy. Now, you don't want your dog to get out either. You don't want them to get out and get lost. So a solid fence with no holes missing and no missing planks is very paramount. And if you live further out, you want a fenced yard because we do have wildlife such as foxes and coyotes, even in certain parts of the suburbs. Now, Denver area neighborhoods like Central Park and Highlands Ranch, they tend to have a lot of homes with fully fenced yards, which is a huge win for your dog. So when we're touring homes, the fence check is literally one of the top things that we do because if your pup isn't happy, you're probably not going to be happy too. All right, the second type of home that your dog hates, and that's a home with bad dog flooring. Okay, so what do we mean by bad dog flooring? Well, first off, Denver homes are full of gorgeous hardwood floors. They got original oak, wide plank, stained to perfection. And it can just be stunning, but hardwood floors can be rather hard and a little bit colder in the winter months, which your dog will absolutely hate. On top of that, it's higher maintenance. And maybe your dog's nails might not become best friends with your hardwood floors. Now, another option is tile, which is super durable, but large dogs on tile can develop joint problems, and it can be very tough on the tile there, and it can even get colder than traditional hardwood. And so one thing to also look at, something to think about, is that when you have an older pup or a large breed, it could just be a little bit tougher on them with this tile home. Now, carpet is a personal choice. And I've seen dog owners just absolutely love it because it gives the dogs traction and cushion. And now it may be harder to clean and it may trap accidents, or as I call them, on purposes, because dachshund owners know. And so it could be a little bit more difficult than non-carpet flooring. So what's really the best is luxury vinyl plank. It's really the gold standard for pet owners these days. It's scratch resistant, waterproof, easy to clean up, and your dog will love it because it's actually a little bit softer and warmer than traditional hardwood floors. It has a little bit of a flexible layer construction, that provides a little bit more cushion and insulation. So when we're out looking at homes together, I'll always point out the flooring type because, refinishing a hardwood, replacing flooring because the nails and the hardwood are not a good match, man, I tell you that can run anywhere from $5,000 to $20,000 in the Denver market, and that's a real issue to consider because you just do not want that at all. Now, the number 3 home that your dog will hate: homes with no proximity to parks and trails. If there is no park nearby, your dog will hate this home. Now, the Denver metro area is really one of the best cities in the country for dog owners when it comes to outdoor access, but not every neighborhood is the same. So let me give you some real world examples. If your dog needs like high energy exercise, we're talking like trail runs, off leash, the whole thing. You want to be close to places like Cherry Creek State Park. I would also say if you're down south towards like Littleton or Highlands Ranch, Chatfield State Park, a fantastic area to take your dog. Wash Park is more in the heart of Denver. Beautiful park there. A lot, you can walk around the different lakes and stuff. We have Wash Park weenies. I've taken both my dachshunds there. Denver just has a growing number of off-leash parks as well, such as Fuller Park in the Highlands, Kennedy Dog Park comes to mind, Rail Yard Dog Park near Rhino. Those are some favorites there. And here's my point: when you're evaluating a neighborhood for your dog, let's look up the nearest off-leash park. Let's look up the walk score. Let's consider all this because your dog probably isn't going to care too much about granite countertops. They care about whether they can sprint at full speed maybe twice a week, and probably you do too. All right, now number 4, and I promised you this one would be a little bit spicy, and I mean it, folks. Homes with HOAs, pet restrictions. I mean, dogs hate the HOA pet restriction, and this is one that buyers almost always overlook, and it has caused some difficult situations. I've known buyers who fall in love with the home and then start planning, maybe to put in an offer, or maybe even sometimes go under contract. And then deep in the HOA documents, you discover that there's a 25-pound weight limit for a pet, and their dog is 65 pounds. Now, HOAs in Colorado and the Denver metro area as a whole, there's a lot of HOA communities, especially the newer developments, that can legally restrict, first off, the number of pets you're allowed to have, weight and breed limits and breed restrictions, which are very real. Whether dogs are even allowed to be on the common area, whether you can build a dog run, and like we've talked about, I have some communities that restrict just certain breeds outright, and it's just non-negotiable. And so we want to verify that before you fall in love with a home. But here's the good news: we're going to be looking at. I'm going to make sure we look at all that before we submit an offer. But I'll tell you what. We're going to make sure that we have all this taken care of. And you should never be surprised by this because I write in deadlines for HOA termination, which if we find something in the HOA that we don't agree with, we can absolutely terminate that whole contract early in the process and recoup your earnest money. And to be frank, though, I would do the research ahead of time and try to find that information before we even submit the offer. But you are protected with what I'm writing in terms of those deadlines. So if you're, but here's the thing: if you're shopping on your own or working with someone who isn't really paying attention, you and your dog will hate this home because of the HOA restrictions that you missed. And it will be heartbreaking. But that, I promise you, that's never going to happen on my watch. All right, number 5. Dogs hate homes with no mudrooms or dog washing stations. And I'll be real with you. This went one from really one that was a nice to have situation to a must have situation, especially one of the top dog cities in the entire country, which Denver is. So here's the scenario. It's March in Denver. You've just done a trail hike down here at Castlewood Canyon. It's beautiful, by the way. Definitely recommend. And your dog has discovered approximately 6 mud puddles, 2 streams, and what you can only hope was mud on that last bush. So now what? Homes with a mudroom entry, especially with a utility sink or a dedicated dog wash station, they are absolutely worth their premium. So you walk in, you rinse the dog, hang up the leashes. Nobody tracks in anything to those luxury vinyl planks or even carpet. All right. And so when you have more, we've seen more and more new construction in the Denver areas that are including, these dog wash stations as a standard feature, particularly in neighborhoods like Barefoot Lakes, Firestone comes to mind, and some of the newer builds in the Central Park area. Now, in the older Denver neighborhoods, you're looking for homes that have at least a basement utility sink or maybe a back entry that you can work with. Now, I don't think this is going to necessarily make or break every deal, a deal or so, but for the serious dog owners, especially if you have maybe 3 or 4, this might be a game changer to have like a mud room and a dedicated wash station. All right, number 6, a home with bad neighborhood walkability. Your dog wants to walk, and if doesn't have good walkability, they're going to hate it. And they will not like that house. So when you say walk, their ears perk up, right? And they run to the door. And in my case, Parker, he starts screaming like a monkey. And I am not joking. It's really kind of strange, but you know the drill, right? And you say that, and then we're talking about that, go for a walk, and we're talking more than just the walk score on Zillow. We're talking about like, what does the sidewalk situation look like? Are there curb cuts? Is the neighborhood designed for walking? What's the layout like? And so, for dog owners in the Denver metro area, walkability matters differently depending on your lifestyle. If you're walking your dog 2 or 3 times a day, every single day, the physical infrastructure of your neighborhood becomes part of your daily life. And I cover this in another video where I reviewed the top 5 neighborhoods in Aurora, and then we talked about how they have trails and walking paths integrated in the community. And you'll find that throughout most of the Denver metro area. And so some of the places that come to mind are Wash Park, tree-lined streets. The park is right there. Just a great culture for dogs. Highlands, Low-High, fantastic walkability. Lots of dog-friendly patios. Sunnyside's very walkable as well. Great community feel. If you start looking a little bit further out and you go down south to Southeast Aurora, you're going to find places like Blackstone, South Shore, Talon's Reach. If you're going a little bit more towards Lakewood, Sloan's Lake is really nice. The Lake Trail Loop, absolutely incredible for a morning dog walk. And even like Arvada, Centennial, it varies, but we're going to be looking for that. Okay, we're going to be looking for, and I'm going to give you my definitely my honest take on that as we go and we look for some homes. Okay, so we're coming to the last one, number 7. That's your type of home that your dog would absolutely hate, and that's a home with no space. Your dog will absolutely hate a home with no room to roam. Now, remember that song, Give Me a Home Where the Buffalo Roam? And I'm not going to sing it for you. You do not want that. Well, you may not have a buffalo, but your dog needs its special space, right? So let's think about your dog's size when evaluating a home's layout. Larger dogs need like open floor plans, maybe wider hallways, space for a real bed, not just a corner of the couch, and a yard they can actually, play in and run in, not just a little patch of grass. And ideally, a ground floor primary bedroom so they're not navigating, the stairs constantly. Now, smaller dogs, they have their own list. Stairs can be really harder on small breeds, especially long backs like my 2, the 2 dachshunds. I'd say elevated decks without railings can be a safety issue. Gaps in the fencing that a small dog can squeeze into. And I won't tell you which one of my dogs found a hole in the fence and ended up in my neighbor's backyard at 10 o'clock at night. But I'll just tell you this. He's the one that screams like a monkey when he wants to go for a walk. All right. So, these set of needs, they're not hard to meet. We just have to be able to look for them and be intentional when we're going out on our home searches. Okay. So looking for a home, it's one of the biggest decisions that you'll make. And if you've got a dog, we know that they're family, right? They deserve to be part of the equation. And that's why when I work with buyers in the Denver metro area and really the Front Range, we don't just talk about square footage and school districts, while those are very important. We talk about everything, though, your actual life. We talk about your weekends, your routines, and your dog's non-negotiables. So if you're thinking about buying a home in the Denver metro area, and whether it's Littleton, Aurora, Westminster, Castle Rock, or anywhere in between, I would love to help you, find your home that works for you and your whole family members, and that's including your dogs. All right. So if this video resonated with you and you and your pup are thinking about buying a home in the Denver metro area, I would love to help you out. So whether you're buying your first home or just maybe upsizing or maybe even downsizing, I can absolutely help you tremendously. I've lived in Southeast Aurora now for over 18 years, and I can absolutely navigate this market, and help you out. So keep this in mind. If you allow me to represent you in buying your new home, I'm going to be providing you $1,000 credit to help you with closing costs or an interest rate buy down. And in addition, I'm also going to be buying you a 1-year home warranty, and those usually run around $575 to $600. So that's nearly $1,600 that I'm providing you just to be able to be your agent. And so, why don't you do this? If you have a chance, have a moment, drop a comment below and tell me what your dog's name is and what they absolutely cannot live without in a home. Now I'll go first. All right. Obviously, my dog's names are Nestor and Parker, and the non-negotiable for them, a fireplace. A nice snowfall and the chill of the Colorado wind drives them to take up long winter naps in front of a warm fireplace. Well, hey, if you found this video helpful, hit that like button because it really does help people find this content. I'm Dave Michael. I am the House Wrangler with You First Realty. Subscribe for more Colorado real estate videos each and every week, and I'll see you on the next one. And on behalf of Nestor and Parker, thanks for watching, and until next time, happy trails.